Hey guys, what's up? It's Liz, and today I will be talking about my top 10 albums of 2017. There's actually a raccoon across the street, so if you hear Remy barking, I'm so sorry. I feel like 2017 was actually a pretty good year of music, to be honest. There were a lot of albums that I listened to, but there were only like a couple that I actually truly enjoyed every single song, which never happens for me. I always skip 3 or 4, but all these albums I actually like all of the songs on it. Maybe like minus 1 or 2 on a few albums, but other than that, these albums are just some of my favorites that I listen to. And this is all opinion based. These are all my opinions and what I listened to the most this year. This is basically based off of what I've listened to on Spotify, just what I've played the most out of my records. You might not like a few of the albums that I have on this list, and that's okay, but this is just my top 10 albums of 2017 and what I've listened to the most of this past year. So, and this is actually in order. I stressed myself out, probably got a few pimples just to make this order, but I did it and you're welcome. I don't talk about music in depth all that often because I'm not the best at it, but I'm gonna try for these videos. We're just gonna make do and we're gonna just try and go through this smoothly. This is the second time I filmed this, and the first time there was a piece of hair that was bugging me the entire time and I just scrapped the entire thing because I'm ridiculous. Without further ado, let's get into it. My honorable mention for this year is Paradise by Broadside. So Paradise by Broadside came out on June 16th of this past year. My favorite songs off of that album are Laps Around a Picture Frame, Summer Stained, and Hidden Colors. Love those songs, they're great. This is honestly the perfect summer album. I feel like this album was very underrated this year. No one really talked about it, which is very surprising because this was a great album in my opinion. Like, I listened to it a lot. I don't know why it kind of just flopped. The last one was more pop punk, this one is more pop. Still a very great album, very underrated, very overlooked, which saddens me because this is such a great album. They have so many incredible songs on this album, like Laps Around a Picture Frame. I Love You, It's Disgusting is the cutest song I've ever heard, and it's just, I wish more people would have listened to this past year because I feel like Broadside is slowly coming to an end, and I really hope it doesn't, but I have a feeling that it is, and I just hope that they still are going strong. Maybe this year will be a better year for Broadside than 2017 was. I don't know. Number 10 is The Thrill of It All by Sam Smith. This is an album that I didn't think was going to be on this list. It came out later in the year. It came out on November 3rd. This album, I was instantly hooked. I took no time getting into it. I listened to it all the time. I played it in my car all the time because for me, Sam Smith is perfect winter music. My favorites off his album are Too Good at Goodbyes and then One Last Song along with Burning. I also really like Pray because I love the choir in that song. It just adds this perfect touch to the song. It just makes it all the more better. Again, another great album from him. It does sound a lot like The Lonely Hour. I feel like I liked The Lonely Hour more than this album. It's still a great album, like I listen to it all the time. Number 9 is Feel Something by Movements. This album took me a long time to get into. I loved the single Colorblind. I listened to it all the time. This came out on October 20th. I feel like this album came out of nowhere. They announced it and then maybe a month and a half later it was released. Usually I feel like artists announce it like 3 months ahead of time and then they promote it and then they release it. I feel like this just wasn't promoted all that well. I could be wrong. Still a very raw and emotional album. I love what they wrote about. They always write about like anxiety and depression, and they have a song about Alzheimer's that I just love, Deadly Doll. Such a great song, very well written. I love that they decided to talk about that topic in a song. I love this band. I love Patrick's voice. This is a band that I never thought I would listen to, and I'm glad that they released such a great album this year. My favorites off of this are Daylily, Deadly Doll, and Colorblind. Number 8 is Always Lose by the Gospel Youth. This came out on July 14th. I wish I would have seen them at Warped Tour. My favorites off this album are I Will Deliver You to the Fireflies, Moods Like an English Weather, Tired Eyes, and Heavy Hearts. I feel like all their song titles are super long. It kind of reminds me of how Fall Out Boy's song titles are always super long. I was instantly hooked with this album. I Will Deliver You to the Fireflies is such an emotional song. It makes me think of like my grandparents and how much like I miss them. Very solid album. Just an artist that I'm glad that I get to see this year. I've heard amazing things about this band. It's just an album that I love what they write about. Very well written. An album that you don't want to skip out on. Definitely an album you want to listen to. Definitely a band you want to check out. If I would have listened to them earlier on when the album was actually released, they probably would have been higher up on my list. I'm just really bad at listening to music. Number 7 is Overexposed by Sleep On It. This album is very well written. I have listened to it so much. Me and Liz talk about it all the time about how much we love this album, how much we listen to it all the time. They did an incredible job. My favorites on this are Autumn, I Wish I Were Better, A New Way Home, and Photo Booth. All great songs. All these songs get stuck in my head all the goddamn time. Like, I'll be humming something and then I'll quickly realize that it's one of these songs from the album and I'm just like, fuck, god damn, it happens all the time. Definitely an album my subscribers would love. Definitely a band you should check out. I've mentioned them on my channel before. If you're a fan of like State Champs, you'll definitely like Sleep on It. Obviously, they do have a song with Derek on the album. It's called Fireworks. It's amazing. Love it. I like the music video. Again, just a very well written and put together album. Like I said about The Gospel Youth, if this album would have been released earlier in the year, this was released on November 3rd, it probably would have been higher up on my list. But you know, it happens. Number 6 is Divide by Ed Sheeran. In this album, I honestly forgot about it for a little bit. This was released on March 3rd. I remember listening to this all the time. This was my summer album. I listened to this all throughout the summer. Especially Barcelona is the perfect summer song, one of my favorites. I also really like Perfect, but I like the version he has with Beyonce, but that's not really on the album. It's just a single that they released separately. But I really like Barcelona, Nancy Mulligan. I also really like Happier. It's a very typical Ed Sheeran album, but like I'm not upset about it. I kind of expected this from him. But he's such an incredible writer and performer. I saw him live. Amazing. I kind of remember it. I was a little drunk. But still a great album. I will always have a special place for Ed Sheeran in my heart. I love his last 2 albums. I loved his first one. I remember when he first came out with music and I was just like, yes. I remember seeing him on the Red Tour with Taylor Swift. Number 5 is Tell Me You Love Me by Demi Lovato. This album took a long time for me to get into. It came out in September like 29th. I didn't like it at first, I'll tell you that right now. I did not like Sorry Not Sorry. I hated that song. I thought it was dumb. Whenever it came on, I would get mad and just instantly switch to the next song. But I don't know what happened, but I think I saw the music video for it and instantly fell in love. I was like, holy crap. Whenever I listen to the song, I feel like a fucking badass. Nothing can stop me. Like, I'm hot shit. I love it. It's perfect for the summer, but I love this album so much. I love Crybaby, Only, Forever, and You Don't Do It For Me Anymore. I love her vocals in that song. Demi, you did great. I honestly, for me, this album, I had to listen to it a couple of times. But I liked this album a lot more than the last one she put out. I wasn't really a fan of it. I think I was more mad at the fact that she was changing her sound. I will always love her first album. Like, her first album is my favorite. I've kind of come to accept the fact that her sound is growing and maturing. It's not gonna be like pop rocky. It's gonna be more her style. However you want to describe her sound, I love it. Love every single song on this album. I love Lonely, but I don't like whatever the fuck his name is in that song. It ruins the song for me. I hate his voice. Other than that, I love every song on that album, but that's just the only song I skip once his part comes. Number 4 is Lovely Little Lonely by The Maine. This came out on April 7th, I believe. And my favorite songs off that album are Don't Come Down Taxi, Black Butterflies, and Deja Vu, and I also really like Bad Behavior, but only because that song just reminds me of like 8123 Fest. I talk about that. I talk about it in almost every video. This album is amazing. I love the transition songs that they have in there, like for Lovely Little and Lonely. It was such a nice touch for the album. While listening to the album in full, it just goes through very smoothly. Very nice transitions. I couldn't think of anything different for them to release. American Candy will always hold a special place in my heart. It's my favorite, The Maine album, but this one is like a close second. Like, it's amazing. Love them. We'll always love The Maine. I literally love one band, and it's The Maine. Number 3 is Shapeshifter by Knuckle Puck. This came out on October 13th. My favorite songs off of it are Want Me Around, I really like Double Helix, and then I really like Nervous Passenger. I don't know why. I remember talking to someone and they said that they didn't like it. I like it because it's such a great introduction song. I love hearing Intercom at the train station. I love that. Usually with stuff like that, I'm not a big fan of, but somehow it worked for Knuckle Puck and I don't know how. The first song they released, Gone, was amazing, incredible. I didn't really like them at first. I didn't really listen to them. This album made me listen to them. It made me go back and listen to their older music, which is really hard for me sometimes. I usually forget about their older music and only like listen to the music that was like most recently released for like any artist. But that album made me go back and listen to their old music and I just fell in love. Number 2 is After Laughter by Paramore. This came out on May 12th and I will tell you right now, I didn't listen to this album at all until maybe like a couple months later. I didn't think to listen to it. I liked Hard Times when it came out and I was very iffy about Told You So. I think everyone else, I was very hesitant to listen to this album because I really liked Paramore's old sound, but honestly I've come to accept the fact that I love the direction that this band is going in with their sound. I love how it's very 80s influenced. I love everything about it. There are so many good songs on this album. They are very like upbeat and happy sounding, but if you listen to the lyrics, they're very like emotional, raw, and they just write about such real topics that I can relate to on a personal level. Like Fake Happy is a song that I love the most on this album. That and Tell Me How. But that song I can relate to on a personal level because literally that song explains me like day by day. If you listen to the lyrics, you'll understand. But I just find myself going back to this album all the time, especially Fake Happy. Like after I watched that music video, I fell in love with it. I didn't really give it a chance until I saw the video and I was like, wow, I really like this song. And I kind of like listened to the lyrics and I was just, alright. This song is me as a song, basically. Tell Me How is a great one. I love that song. Idol Worship is incredible. A solid album that I wish more people would listen to. And I know a lot of people love the old Paramore, but no one's gonna sound the exact same on every single album, so people kind of just need to get over it. Number 1, my top album of 2017 is Adornment by Grayscale. It came out on May 5th. I remember listening to them earlier in the year, like their singles, I think it was Beautiful Things and Atlantic, and maybe If I Ever See You Again. I love those songs. They're a new band for me. I didn't listen to them in 2016. I do like their old music though. Their old music is incredible. I love the What We're Missing album, I believe that's what it's called. But this album, I listen to it at least once a week, to be honest. Like, I always listen to Adornment. Grayscale did such an incredible job with this album. They're amazing guys. I love them. They're so nice to me and Liz whenever we see them. This album is just one that I have listened to the most in 2017 out of all the albums that I have on here. Paramore and like Grayscale were going like back and forth for a while, but like Grayscale just holds a special place in my heart. Fever Dream, Mom, Slept are like my favorites off that album. Again, just a very solid album for Grayscale, and an album that I know so many people love. Like I always see people tweet about it all the time on Twitter. Like it always shows up on my feed and I'm like, yes. Listen to Grayscale. You won't regret it. And it's just like, it makes me happy that they're kind of gaining more followers and more listeners, but it makes me sad. I'm just like, wow, they were kind of like my own little thing, and I have to share them with everyone else. This kind of sucks. I'm like the kid at a daycare that hates sharing toys with other kids. I will be like, no. Get away. That's me with music. I'm to accept the fact that I need to share them with other people. I actually had people message me saying, hey, thank you so much for mentioning them on your channel. Because of you, so-and-so is my favorite band, or so-and-so is my favorite artist. And honestly, that makes me so happy that you guys tell me those things. Like, it really does. I had a few people tell me about that for Grayscale. I've had people tell me that for the Main and State Champs. I know people have told the guys from Sleep On It that they found them through my channel. It makes me so happy that you guys actually like take my opinions into consideration and think, wow, maybe I should listen to this band if Liz is talking about it. But it honestly like warms my heart that you guys like kind of somewhat listen to me. Even though I'm a nutcase, but yeah. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If you did, give it a thumbs up and comment down below. Tell me your thoughts on the video and what you'd like to see next. Subscribe to my YouTube channel if you haven't already. I put videos out 1 to 2 times a week, and you can follow me on any of my social media sites at Twitter, Tumblr, Instagram, or Snapchat at Zbethian. It's the same way spelled on every single account. I hope you guys have a great day today, and I'll see you next time. Bye. I'm at an all-time